All right, what's up, fellas? So right now in front of me, I have a 2022 Road Glide. It's the same bike that I had. It's one of my brother's bikes, right? Not my blood brother, but just one of my brothers that we ride together. And we're gonna start doing some upgrades. So today, I'm gonna show you how to change out these handlebars, okay? We're gonna put on some 14-inch pullbacks. Hopefully everything comes out perfect. This is how my bike looked when I first got it, fully stocked. Everything is on this bike, looks really clean, looks really good. And this is how my bike looks right now with the pullbacks. So you can get an idea on the differences on the bike. Got everything blacked out mostly now. Put on a new tank, a new back. So all those little things really changed out, you know? So let's get. All right, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove these two screws right here. My voice box is messed up, I'm not talking loud. And then also we're gonna remove this little clip here, okay? So some little screws, nice and simple. This video is gonna be a quick walkthrough. I'm not giving you out a whole bunch of time because you get an idea on the steps. I'm just taking you out through all the steps, all right? So we're gonna carefully take these out. Don't thread the screws. And remember, always put your screws where you remember where they are. All right, so this piece right here, this is the odometer reader. And normally you push this in and it will lock in place. So you wanna come up on it and pull it out and it's gonna come right out. Don't break it, just up and out. The next thing that we're gonna do, and you can go in any order as long as it works for you, right? Is I'm taking a T27 Star Allen, whatever you wanna call this, and I'm gonna remove these two screws here. There are two screws. Make sure that it's in and you're not gonna strip it, okay? Take your time, because these will strip pretty easy. I prefer to use the manual than the machine, even though I have the machine. So there are two screws, remember that, two of them, top and bottom. And then you're gonna have a screw here and a screw in the bottom. And that's gonna remove this whole entire plate. Now when you take the stuff off, be careful not to let anything fall and collapse and scratch the bike up, all right? Now when you pull this off, this whole piece is gonna come up. But you have to be very careful by not breaking anything. So don't just tear it off. So this whole piece comes off. And inside, there's some little knots here and some little clamps. And you gotta work your way to remove the clamp. And there's also some wires, okay? So I'm gonna find like a really thin screwdriver and lift this piece off. All right, so there's a little knob here. You basically just come in under, take your time, and you're gonna hear a snap. It's gonna snap up, right? It locks right into place. And when it snaps, you wanna separate it, just like this, okay? Now, when you separate it, don't just pull it out, because remember, these wires are still connected. And then you pinch this little piece right here, slowly, and pull it out, okay? But don't rush it. I'm gonna actually use a screwdriver to get a better pinch, and then just push it out like this. And then you have this whole piece out. So this side is the same exact thing as the other side. The only difference is there's a ram mount here. So we're just gonna lift it out the way and just take our time and get the right screw. Make sure everything is inside properly. That way you don't thread this at all. I'm speaking from experience, okay? I've threaded a bunch of stuff. And you know what I should have done is get something, towel, something to throw over your tank. That way if anything falls by mistake, the tank doesn't get scratched. So there we go. Now the tank is fully protected and I can continue my work. All right, so that's coming off. I like to use the hands after that just to give myself the other hand so I could hold this so it doesn't fall or collapse and then loosen screws and anything like that. All right, so this whole piece is gonna lift off just like this, and then this whole piece comes right off as well. Now the same rule applies on this side. You want to take that little tiny screwdriver and work your way underneath this little clamp, and you're gonna hear it snap. It's gonna lift out, and you don't want to rip it. Just take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Nice and gentle, and it comes right up. Pull it off. Now remember, there are wires here. Same thing. You take your screwdriver, stick it in, and pull it out. You see the little grooves in here. If these wires get cut, the bike will not start. The power will be completely gone on the bike, okay? It will light up, but it will not start. So take your time. I can't stress it enough. All right, the next piece to be concerned about now is this little piece right here. I'm gonna let this hang out to the side. It's this little silver piece. So you're gonna take this knob, turn the knob this way, make sure the handlebar is facing towards your right or to your left. So an easy way that I find to take this off is to push in the bottom of the plastic. So when you push that piece in, it's gonna pop it out, and then this piece is gonna come off. The next thing to do is we're gonna lift this whole thing off, okay? Remember, we got those 2 screws off. So this will come off much easier now. But take your time, because there are cables that's underneath this. We have 1, 2, 3 cables, and we're gonna remove those cables. So we have 1 cable, just pinch it, and it comes off. Then we have another one on the other side, and then we have a cable here. Now, that little screwdriver that we had, I'm gonna take a little and just stick it onto the side, pry it out to the side a bit, not a lot, just to loosen this thing up. I'm not pulling the wire, don't pull the cable. Take your time and then work your way up, and that will come off. And then we have another one back here. It's a little tricky to get because they put it backwards, because it's just a dummy spot for now. All right, so we have those 3 pieces off. Now this whole entire module is off. Put it someplace safe. I'm using a 1/4 inch Allen, and I'm gonna take my time, get in here, and just press in as I rotate. Okay, you don't have to use a whole lot of pressure. It's not torqued down really, really tight. Torqued down right, just the right amount. Now I don't have a torque wrench, but I've been doing this. We're working with enough screws to kind of understand how tight the screw needs to be. Now you see, this is completely loose now, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna straighten this up. Take this out of the lock. I'm gonna straighten this bar up, and that way will give me some angles. So when this comes down, it will come down right into the front. So I'm gonna now take the bar out. Now these bars, they are connected inside here. So you have a couple of little switches to press to get them out, these little connectors. Okay, got one here, press it in, pull it up. Remember, don't pull the wire. I'm not pulling the wire. I'm just pressing the button and going underneath with the nails. So that's 3 wires, all right? 3 wires. And then you have one right here, which is a little tricky. Press this in and then pull it out, all right? Now, the bar is completely loose. Now here's the good news. I got to save Darrell some money, because I had him go and buy the extended cables, but so far, I don't know. These might be long enough, who knows? The left side is pretty easy to take off, okay? So you're gonna do a little pull and push. So I'm gonna pull, and push. And this one comes out very easy. It's not hard to take this one out, all right? So put that there. We know that that goes on the left side of the bar, right? That's the clutch side. Then the same thing on this side is gonna be a little bit more complex, because you have 2 wires that is connected along with the throttle wire. So that's gonna be the tricky one. But the more patience we play, the better we get. All right, so I'll be back. By the time I come back, these will be out. All right, just so you can see in case you happen to get lost, right? So I have the cable out, this is the throttle. And you're gonna have to work your way by simply pulling and pushing, okay? Pull and push. pull and push, and it's gonna come out. Okay, take your time. Don't go too aggressive. All right, so now everything is out. Okay, so that's how this looks. So we're gonna take that now and transfer it all to the new bar. This is the empty bar. Okay, there's a couple of things that we have to like customize to get the stuff to fit on this bar, but each bar is different. So I'm trying to see if I can just guide us down because of the fact you have the opening. So when it comes down through this hole, I should be able to grab it and bring it out. Let's see if I'm able to get it. All right, so far so good. Get something to reach in and pull it out. Now every handlebar is different. Like this, I love the domino bars because you get the ability to reach your fingers through. You have the openings on the ends. So that's gonna be not as hard to run the wires because I'm able to grab and pull. Yep. Now you got to be patient with this though. You can't be crazy and pulling hard and going crazy. You have to be patient. They're wires, which means that they will break easily inside. There are weldings inside. So if you're not careful, you will break it. So I'm taking my time and grabbing what I can. If I had a chain, I would have gotten this through already with the chain. Let me get a little bit more grab here, a little more push. I just want you to see, I want you to see me getting it through at least one. That way you get the idea on what I'm doing, right? So look, see? So I got it through. That's one side that's done. The hardest piece is gonna be the throttle part, this piece. So let me go to the other side, at least get that part done, and then go to the throttle part. All right, so we got the wires in. Everything is inside. Now, in reality, we don't necessarily really need the extension. I'm gonna see if I can get Darrell to get some money back in his pocket, but I like the extension because the wires are actually pretty cool there. To have more extension means less tension on the cable. Now, there's a pin that's right here, and we're gonna have to get a hammer to knock this pin in so this can lay in flush. Let's do that right now. So let's get a little hammer and a screwdriver, and we're gonna tap this pin down. It goes right in, and make sure it's flush. Once it's flushed, then you can take the bar, make sure the wires are out the way, and also we're gonna need to clip some wires to get more extension from these cables before we even put the bar on. So let's find those zip ties and cut those zip ties. Now I should have been recording, but there's a zip tie that wrapped right around this bushing, and it's right here. It loosens up a lot of this cable, okay? A lot of it. Now let's find if there's some more that we can loosen up to give these cables a lot more room to extend. You have to find them, you have to look for them, all right? Because once you do that, it's gonna free it up. Now look, here's one under here as well. I'm gonna try to get it underneath here without cutting my damn self. All right, let's get this cable. There we go. Got this one out. All right, so now that we got that part out, see, this is the zip ties right here. So when you do that, you're gonna give yourself a lot more length on your clutch. And we wanna make sure that we are able to extend it all the way up, get as much room as we can possibly get, but be careful not to break anything. Don't rush, don't be in a hurry, take your time, and try to get as much length as possible. Now inside, they normally have some hooks in the back. So you want to look for those hooks as well and remove the cables from those hooks. So this piece snaps in. And you want to not pinch these cables. Don't pinch them. There's a little slot here. And then we're going to take our time. We're gonna pin this back in, okay? It snaps right back into place, just like that. You want to hear that snap sound, right? And then you want to also make sure that it's far in enough so your grips and everything can go right back in its spot. There's a little pin right here that I'm gonna have to break that out, because when I put this in its place, there's no hole to put that pin. So we're gonna take a little hammer and a screwdriver and we're gonna knock that little notch out. That's it. All right, so we're gonna replace this back in. Now, be careful that you don't pinch any of those wires. I'm not trying to tighten it like really tight, because of course you're gonna need to have room to move this in for the throttle, for your grip, not the throttle, because I'm not on the throttle side. And what I'm doing here, you're gonna do the same exact thing for the other side. I'm not making it too tight. I'm making it just tight enough for me to make the adjustments necessary. As a matter of fact, this feels a little too tight. Let's make it a little looser to give me some more play better. All right, so what we're gonna do, when you're putting the throttle side on, right? I'm gonna take this out so you can see it. This is the throttle grip. This is already in. This is where everything works. You gotta make sure that this is locked in. Yeah, make sure that's locked in place. So that means that this is gonna be able to control that throttle. Once I push this in, it's gonna lock and you're gonna get that play. Make sure you have that resistance, okay? Now this is gonna go over it. You're gonna lock it in. This is gonna go to the front. This little groove right here is what's gonna situate that whole thing. Then you're gonna take the back and you're gonna put the back on. The same way you took it off, you're doing the opposite. Remember the same thing. Careful of the wires. Don't pinch the wires. I prefer to take my time and go back in here and make sure this wire is seated inside this spot, this little groove, okay? And then I'm gonna put this cover, this back cover back on and over the slot. All right, guys, so now I'm buttoning up the last pieces of this whole thing and putting these screws in. The bars are in, everything is good. I got everything locked back in place. So once I get the screw in, do both sides, then I'm golden. I would always recommend when you're changing your bars, you might as well just go ahead and get some grips. Get some nice grips, really good grips. Ones that you like, the style. You don't have to go expensive, but just buy some stuff that's nice. You know what I'm saying? The install is not the easiest thing in the world, but what I will tell you is when you're done, you're good. All right, here goes the last of the equation that a lot of people don't know. You have to use what's called JB Weld. You mix it together and you're gonna seal up, you're gonna put the caps on, all right? So you're gonna smudge it around the caps, the ends, like you know, a good amount. It stinks too. It stinks a lot. But what you're gonna do though, you want to use a generous amount, push that in that hole, let it sit there. And you do the same thing for all four. All right, guys, so that's it. The bar is created. It came out pretty good. Came out actually really nice. What I'm using is the JB Weld. So this is the JB Weld, right? It's a nasty, stinky smell, but it's what keeps those caps inside of your the bar. And once you mix it together, it's a two mix component, and then that's it. So what are some of the things to be mindful of when installing your bars? everything. Be mindful of everything. Be mindful of every single thing that you're doing. Keep your bike protected. You know what I'm saying? Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. I showed you guys all the step-by-step stuff. The only thing with this bike that needs to be corrected is this. This needs a new grip that will lock into place. The grip that's here, I didn't put any glue because Darrell is going to end up changing out his grips anyway. But the bar came out really nice. This is a 14-inch bar. I did not have to add anything. I didn't even have to use the extension like I had to use in mine the last time. So nothing. I didn't have to use any extensions. So everything came out pretty good. It looks good. I didn't start the bike up yet, so let me start it up now and see if any codes will come up. Now, remember with the codes, right? Is with the codes, you want to hold this button down. As you turn the knob, you hold it. So what I did was I cleared out the codes, right? And when you're clearing the codes, you're supposed to hold this down, this little knob, and you turn it on. And you're gonna see, it's gonna say diagnostics. And when it says diagnostics, you click it again, the thermometer button, odometer button. It says ECM, no codes available. ECM, no codes. SpeedDO, no codes. ABS, no codes. RAD, no codes. Diagnostics is done. So when you're doing that, you make sure that you do that. You have to clear those codes because the bike will act up. So all those codes are cleared. Now let's see if the bike will start up. Good stuff. I'm gonna take it for a test ride and see how these bars feel. Everything feels sturdy. The install, like I said, it's really for you guys to take it easy. You know, learning all this stuff is fun, but sometimes, you know, you can make errors, and we all make errors. I'll make errors, and you're gonna make errors. So this is Donovan Green from Ride Fit Nation. I'm telling you guys, leave the comments. This channel is covering a whole lot of something, okay? Not a little bit of something, a whole lot of something. All right? So I'm out. Peace. So one of the things that, this is day number 2, the day after. One of the things that people don't show when it comes to handlebars, it's the adjustments of the rider. So we put on the backrest for him, the rider's backrest, and we also put on the, not put on, but the handlebar, we're adjusting the handlebars so he can see what feels good. So he's riding it, you see him down there. He's riding, it's raining now too, by the way, but he's riding to see what needs to be adjusted. Not only the handlebar, but also the lever, the brakes, everything, what feels good to the wrist, because you don't want to have your wrist crooked like that. So that's it. That's the setup for the bars. Hopefully you found this video pretty helpful and pretty detailed. Let's lock him in as he's coming in so you get an idea what it looks like. Now what I will tell you, he looks much more comfortable on the bar compared to the stocks. We need to adjust.
This probably have to come up some.
All right, see? So that's what I'm saying. Just finished telling y'all. So now we're gonna do the work on adjusting this. Does this one feel different? Does that feel comfortable?
This one.
So this is higher.
This is higher, yeah.
All right, perfect. So we're gonna make the adjustments. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all before we out the video. The small adjustments is what makes the rider more comfortable. So we're gonna get that up. So when y'all doing y'all bars, make sure you get it done. All right, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments. It's my bro Darrell right here. He's over here getting his stuff together, getting his bike right. All right, so we out. Peace.